Corporal Miguel Rodriguez, Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, Office of Agricultural Law Enforcement, Florida. Deputy Sheriff Joshua J. Welch, Sarasota County Sheriff's Office, Florida. Sergeant Richard Charles Howe, Pittsburgh Bureau of Police, Pennsylvania. Trooper Dung X. Martinez, Pennsylvania State Police, Pennsylvania. Sergeant Michael David Dunn, Amarillo Police Department, Texas. Police Officer Stephen Evans, Burns Police Department, Kansas. Police Officer Tyler Timmons, Pontoon Beach Police Department, Illinois. Police Officer Thomas Christopher Hutchinson, Haltom City Police Department, Texas. Staff Sergeant Jesse Sherrill, New Hampshire State Police, New Hampshire. Lieutenant David Formiza, Perth Amboy Police Department, New Jersey. Sergeant Timothy Werner, Pittsburgh Bureau of Police, Pennsylvania. Senior Patrolman Sherman Otto Bennies Jr., Kingsville Police Department, Texas. Chief Nicholas Paoli, Jackson, New Jersey. Firefighter Darcy Stallings, Yuma, Colorado. Firefighter Larry Wyatt, Yuma, Colorado. Firefighter Medic Merrill Bone, Salt Lake City, Utah. Firefighter Kayla Bradley, Powell, Wyoming.
Welcome back to American Sons Podcast. My name is Christian. Before we get started, I just want to give a huge thank you to Scooter Brown Band for letting us use their intro music or their music as our intro. Today, Hunter and Dylan are not going to be with us. They are out. They have some complications with work schedules, so they weren't able to make it. Though, with me here today, a guest, my cousin Joe.
What's happening, everybody? I'm Joe, Christian's cousin, as he just told you. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, first time on a podcast. A little scared of the mic.
A little bit, not really. Just don't have any. Mine's just blank right now.
Yeah, that's usually what happens.
Until we get into it, then I'll start talking.
It's all good. So we have, this episode today, we're just kind of going to go at it and whatever flows. We were having some great conversation before this.
Yeah.
We both are really into small business and real estate. And so hopefully we can get into a little bit of that. But the first thing I want to start with today is something that not a lot of people know about, and it's really recent. 2 days ago, 47 minutes ago actually, from NPR, 24 states are suing the Biden administration over vaccine or testing mandate, and that comes after a federal court has frozen Biden's mandate for being, in their words, problems with being constitutional. And that mandate, as a lot of people know, it's been talked about over the past few months, was any employer with 100 employees or more, or any private business with 100 employees or more, were going to have to vaccinate their employees, or they're going to have to test weekly. And that has been ruled by federal court, and it's going to be frozen and pretty much until further review by the federal court. So what do you think about that?
It's almost like Biden only wants to see himself succeed and not help others people. Everybody seems like he just wants everybody else to fail.
It's almost like they're trying to kill small business.
Right.
Well, that 100 employees or more, I don't think you're really small at that
I wouldn't
point.
Consider it a small business.
No, small business, I think.
Consider a small business 15, 20 employees.
Yeah, or less. Yeah.
Or less.
Yeah, is it about health? Like, we went through this whole pandemic, and
it's
we
all
basically
about
killed
what's benefiting them.
Yeah, we killed small businesses with the pandemic, and now we're going to kill them more.
I was in Dover last week, and I was driving past a state building, and I saw a sign, and it said, "Vaccinations here, no appointment needed." It said free vaccinations, no appointments needed. Now, when is the last time that you can remember the government giving something out so fast for free with no return?
Yeah, and how are they free?
Exactly.
Who's paying that bill?
Exactly. So is it really to benefit us, or who's it benefiting?
Yeah, and that, I got into it with someone on Twitter, on our American Sons Twitter the other day. Surprise. But they were asking me, they were asking the podcast, they were saying, why would you take part in misinformation? That's where they're wrong first. And quote unquote science when you could be wrong about the science.
Right.
I replied back to them and I was like, well, I mean, I didn't say this completely, but I should have said this, like, back at you. Like, what if your science is wrong?
Right.
Like, that your information might be misinformation, but they're being told by mainstream media that their information is right and everything else that even questions is wrong. But that's where I went with it. I said, why are you not questioning right now? Like, after Fauci lied, after he lied about the gain of function research in the Wuhan lab.
Correct. I listened to that.
Yeah, and after everything with Biden and the mandates, I need to pull up the tweet and just read it. But we got into it. And I ended up not even replying to him the second time because it was just not worth it. It's just a Twitter troll.
They're on a mission to completely just brainwash the people. Mm-hmm. It seems like. It's how much scarcity can they put into the people for the people to just give in?
It's a fear tactic.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny that COVID is not real or real, but I'm not going to live my life in scarcity of it.
Right.
I'm going to go about my daily life like I do every other day.
Yeah. I got COVID months ago, or probably a year ago now. I haven't worn a mask since. You know what?
I've never gotten COVID. I've been exposed multiple times. I go around the same people that have been exposed before, and I'm no symptoms, nothing, perfectly fine myself.
Well, dude, you're active in your job. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if you go to the gym or not, or how you eat, but you're active every day. You're always on your feet. You're crawling around.
A lot of vitamin D.
Yeah,
a lot of vitamin D.
That might be why you never got COVID.
I mean,
and that's perfectly fine.
My girlfriend's mom got it, and we live in the same household at the time, and she was in the house when we weren't there, and when we got home, she was secluded in her room, and that was for about a week, and never. I mean, you can't get closer to COVID than living in the same house as somebody
Everything
else.
You're touching, they're touching.
Everything.
Yeah.
And never got a single symptom, got tested, nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to live my life in scarcity of not being able to do something or being brainwashed to go get a vaccine, that there's just not enough research done on it. And the other thing that should really scare people is it's free.
Yeah. Why isn't cancer treatment free?
Exactly. Why are you paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars for an epinephrine pen?
I gotta go back to that. Yeah. No, but that seriously, why? Because people don't question that, and they say, "Oh, big government has our interests in mind." No, they don't. They never have.
If they did, then they would help people with diabetes and people that have allergic reactions,
right,
and not charge them hundreds of dollars out of pocket.
Yeah. So my big thing is, like, why the propaganda? I pulled it up here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it, but Big Bird from Sesame Street put a tweet up. They put a tweet up on this Big Bird Twitter. I don't even know Big Bird had a Twitter. I think it's the stupidest thing ever. But
Big Bird has a Twitter.
Yep.
Are you serious?
Yep. The big yellow bird. And basically said we should get the vaccine, and that some character, I guess, who's like the adult for Big Bird, said that I got all my vaccines as a kid, so I should get this vaccine. President Biden replied on his Twitter and talked about how safe and effective and how they're our best way to fight corona. Like, if this isn't propaganda, I mean, no 6-year-old is on Twitter, but well, maybe they are. I don't know at this point.
At this point, you're correct.
Yeah. But like, why? Dude, the propaganda is huge, and they're changing the language too. Like, I don't know if you thought about that. Like, anti-vax, the term anti-vax has been changed by Webster Dictionary.
Really?
Yeah. So let me look it up real quick.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So before, like, anti-vax was like completely like you got nothing, right? So basically, like, before the pandemic, you would have thought anti-vax was someone who didn't get like smallpox, didn't get like a hep or whatever other vaccines we got as a kid. Webster's Dictionary now says definition of anti-vaxxer: a person who opposes the use of vaccines or regulations mandating vaccination.
That's not anti-vax.
That's my point. They're changing the language behind everything to make it worse. Just like calling parents domestic terrorists that go to the school board meetings, they're changing the language.
Well, I saw a report the other day of a I don't remember her name. It was an elementary school girl that has been suspended 37 times
That
for
girl's
not
awesome.
wearing a mask.
Good on her.
Props to her parents and her for standing up for what is right.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't. People just don't have the balls these days.
No, they don't.
They
no
really
one
don't.
has a backbone. And I was showing you Real AF, and we talk about Andy Frisella, this podcast,
Yep.
all the time on here because he speaks absolute fact.
Truth.
They were talking about, him and his brother were on there talking about how it was all good and fine while you were messing with us, but once you start messing with the kids, it's going to break open.
Absolutely.
And that they think, and I agree with them, I think that's going to be the big turning point. I mean, you've already seen it. Now, you're not going to see it on mainstream media because I think they're going to cover it up. But I think there's going to be a lot of parents going to these school board meetings, absolutely destroying, like figuratively, these board administrators who don't even have kids in the school.
It's already happened.
Oh, yeah, it already did happen.
I watched a video on a guy that went to a board meeting, and the lady on the board that was holding the meeting stated, if you decide to talk, you have to list your full name and full address publicly on video.
So they can come find you.
So this gentleman tried to speak, and she asked, you need to state where you live. And he listed the town and state, and she goes, okay, and what's the address? I need the full address. And she literally would not let him continue without stating the numerics of his house and the street he lived on.
And it doesn't even,
Publicly.
why does that matter?
Well, it has nothing to do with
I
anything.
can see if like the town and state, so you can say, hey, I live in this town, my kid goes here.
Absolutely.
Not your address.
It has nothing to do with anything.
No, it doesn't. And I am like lost for words when I think about this. So if you go into the Patriot Act that was passed when 9/11 happened, it gives them the authority to basically, in layman's terms, spy on terrorists.
Right.
Read emails, read texts, listen to calls. If they label parents as domestic terrorists and then go back, and I mean, people are already saying, like, there's already groups of people who are saying, we should force vaccinations. So what's going to stop them from, hey, listening to their calls, see if they're talking about not vaccinating their kids?
Why isn't the
Go get
flu
'em.
vaccine mandatory?
I don't know, why isn't it? If
Why-
we're going to
why-
have
why-
37 boosters for this, it's basically the same thing.
Why is COVID mandatory? The COVID vaccine mandatory?
Yeah, seriously.
Why?
And even when the CDC came out and said it was either 94 or 96%, I think it was 94% of the deaths from COVID weren't even from COVID. It was from a comorbidity. That only 4 to 6% of the deaths were actually from COVID itself, like
Right.
only COVID. So you're talking about 17 to 20,000,
Yep.
if that. You know how many kids died from COVID without a comorbidity?
Very few.
Zero. 500, and I think it was, last time I checked, it was like 584 have died since last January. But they want to vaccinate all the kids.
Yep.
And it was a 0.0003072% that they died from COVID. And that was based on the 2010 statistics of population. So if those are higher now, that percentage is even lower. How do you explain that? Like, people want to talk about trust to science, but when I'm reading them numbers straight off the CDC, they disagree with me. Like,
I can't even trust the people that are giving the numbers.
no, you
And
can't.
you want me to trust the numbers?
When you have someone like Fauci, who's basically the god boy of this whole movement, I mean, this whole pandemic, quote unquote, and he lies straight to Congress, how are you supposed to trust
I
anybody?
think specifically Senator Paul.
Yeah, no, he's been
He's
he lied
fantastic.
straight to him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
when they were talking. But Senator Paul's been grilling him. We've touched on that before on here, but holy crap. Senator Paul is the man. Like, he's just getting right down to the nail.
Eats them
against
alive.
me. Yeah, well, he's also a doctor. Senator Paul is, which makes a lot of sense on why he's the one questioning it so much. But we had a chiropractor on a few weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
He's local. I can tell you after the show. He brought a stack of papers. They're right over there of all the studies against these vaccines, against the masks, everything, even all the way back to 2015 that said the masks don't work. But yet we're still enforcing these masks. And now I haven't worn a mask in probably a year,
I couldn't.
more than that.
I was actually in Puerto Rico in the end of September, and you could not enter a restaurant without showing proof of your vaccination or a negative test result within the last 72 hours.
Sounds like New York. So where you're supposed to get tested every 3 days?
Yes. I was there for 3 days.
Yeah, right.
No exaggeration.
Yeah. Well,
I was there for 3 days.
you know, Andy Frisella posted, or he was talking about on his last podcast, he was like, or I think he posted on a story, one of the two. He was like, a year ago, everyone was saying the mask mandates are going to turn to a vaccine mandate. Just wait. And everyone said,
Yep.
no. Well, here
Look
we
at it
are.
now.
And the big thing everyone's saying is they're not going to stop once you give them an inch, they're going to take a foot. And it's happening.
I think it's safe to say that some people are starting to really see the truth and open their eyes just from looking at New Jersey and Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's clear some people are
Yeah.
opening their eyes just a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, the New Jersey race in itself
Was phenomenal.
Yeah, 1:23 a.m. There was 100% votes in favor of Murphy?
I don't remember the gentleman's name.
In favor of the Republican
Yes.
candidate.
That only spent $153 on his campaign.
Well, that wasn't him. He was, I think, one of the districts. I'm talking about the governor.
senator?
I'm talking about the governor.
Oh,
So
I was
the-
talking about the senator.
Yeah, that was awesome. 153, and half of that was spent on
Yes.
Dunkin' Donuts.
And then his opponent was $1 million.
Yeah, that's awesome. That tells you where they're at right now.
Absolutely.
But the the governor at 1:23 a.m. there was 100% votes, so no more votes should be coming in.
Mm-hmm.
At 1:24, 40,000 of those flipped to the Democratic and made him win. Yeah,
I did not see that.
Yep. So they were talking about that on theirs.
Wow.
That hasn't been really populated much. So that's why a lot of people are calling for a recount and an audit on it. And obviously you have all the Democratic side saying, "Oh, you're just trying to do another 2020."
Right.
But even the 2020 audit found stuff. And if you want a fair election, both sides, like this is my big thing. Like, what if down the road, 8 years from now, Republicans cheat and it bites the Democrats in the ass? They're going to want a fair election, audit it.
Absolutely.
And
they won't stop until they get it.
yeah, no, yeah, right. So the past 4 years, everything with Russia, they just actually arrested. It was on CNN actually. Again, they were talking about it. They just arrested one of the Russian spies, quote unquote, that was saying that Trump was colluding with Russia, and he actually lied. So
Wow.
this is all coming out now that everything, all these scandals and all these things that they tried to get on Trump for the last 4 years, still are trying to this day,
Yes.
are completely false. Completely false. And that's tyranny. Or, I mean, whoever came up with that, Hillary Clinton, should be in jail.
It's crazy how Obama gets out of office, Trump gets in office. The whole time Trump is in office, it's bad Trump, bad Trump, bad Trump. Nothing about Obama. Biden comes in office, it's still bad Trump, bad Trump, bad Trump.
It's because of the narrative. If you have to be blind. Someone posted something on Facebook the other day, basically saying, "Let's go, Brandon," up that area. So I'm reading the comments, and this guy's just absolutely from the left is absolutely trolling him and saying like jobs are up 28% and all this stuff. And I'm like, of course jobs are up 28%. Everyone's not been working now. Everyone's
Right,
suddenly
right.
working, and they're going to be up. And saying all this stuff, like unemployment's down 34%. They said wages are up 28% or something like that, some high percentage. Of course wages are up. Inflation's out the roof, so wages are going up. That doesn't mean it's a good thing. If a carton of milk is $3 now and you're making $15, but then the carton of milk's $5, and then you get push up to $17, it's the same thing.
Exactly.
It's just more money. And no one gets that. And I could get into the whole how
It's the same thing with buying a cell phone versus buying a car versus buying a house. It's the same thing, bigger numbers.
Right. So if you're making $30,000, you go to buy a $30,000 car. Now the car is worth $40,000, but now you're getting paid for it. It's the same thing. It all neutralizes. And what was it? McDonald's. I got to find this article.
Of their starting wage?
No, they raised. What was it? Oh, they raised their product prices.
Yes.
Because of
I saw that.
because of the wages, and everyone spent like the past 5 years saying that's not going to happen. That's not how economics work. Like McDonald's is worth billions of dollars. They're not going to increase product prices.
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't they?
If they're raising their minimum wage to, I saw a sign, McDonald's, it was, I think, $13 an hour. And Taco Bell was in Rehoboth, $19 an hour. You don't think they're going to raise the prices of their product?
Yeah.
Then you're out of your mind.
Yeah. That water bottle, if I sell water bottles for $1 a bottle, right? I can get them for 10 cents. I sell them for $1. So I make 90 cents and I make 90% back. And they raise the price of the bottle to 20 cents. You don't think I'm going to charge $1.10?
Exactly.
I ain't eating that cost just because I have more money. No, that's not how business works.
No.
So anybody who thinks McDonald's, they're worth this $1 billion company and they shouldn't, you have no right to say what they can do. They're going to, and McDonald's is the only one that I've heard so far that's done that. What's stopping Walmart? What's stopping look at wood prices, Home Depot, Lowe's. Everyone's going to do it.
That's one of the biggest crises with small businesses, especially in different trades right now, is the manufacturer raising the price on product. I've been dealing with almost 12% per month since June. We are not going to eat that. It's unfortunate. We have to pass that along to the customer.
Yeah.
The customer now is saying, "Oh, that's too much. We can't do it."
Yeah, but that's going to be everybody.
That it's happening
Your
with
business
everybody.
is not going to survive if
Exactly.
you don't pass that down.
Exactly. And
you're not going to survive working in that business if you can't pay yourself.
because now our overhead is up and income is down. And
Dude,
that's
it's
just
literally a trickle effect.
it's not how you can survive a business.
Right. So let's get into, we were talking about real estate earlier.
Yep.
Same thing with rent. So if you're charging $800 a month, but then your taxes, your taxes go up every year for that house. Your electric goes up, your water goes up, your sewage goes up.
Expect the rent to go up.
Yeah, it has to. So really, what we're saying is inflation isn't necessarily a good thing.
Not at all.
Wages going up isn't necessarily always a good thing. This is the whole fight about why people shouldn't be getting paid $15 an hour. If you're getting paid $15 an hour to flip burgers and someone's getting paid $15 an hour to go do chest compressions on somebody, there's a problem there. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like, if the whole part about the American dream and everything to do with that is working your way up. When I first got in the workforce at 15, I think it was, I was making like $9 an hour.
Yep. I
And
started
slowly throughout the years.
the second I turned 14 and I was able to get a work permit from
Yep.
middle school.
Yep.
I got my first job at $7.25 an hour.
Because what clicked in your head? You're like, I'm going to have money. I can buy what I want. I can go buy Call of Duty.
If I want something, I have to work for it.
Yeah.
And that's how it has always been.
Yeah. I was raised, and I don't think a lot of people are raised this now, to know the value of $1. If you want something, you have to work for it. That computer, what you guys can't see right now, I bought myself a computer. I work for that. I worked my hind end, the vehicle I have outside, I worked my hind end off for it. So people, that's lost. People just, you know what it is? It's the trophy generation. And he talks about it a lot, Andy Frisella, where everyone gets a trophy.
Yep.
You're expected to get something when you've put nothing forward. Just like that.
And that'll make you the biggest failure in life.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to expect something out of nothing.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Always.
So that's the way we're leading right now. And that's going to kill generations. Because that, but also people like me and you who want to get into small business and be wealthier and, hire people and give other people good lives and pay other people and have people working. It's going to be way easier for us.
The school system is completely just failing these kids by teaching them, you have to go to college. You have to go to school.
Yeah.
You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to go make money. You have to make more money. You always have to have money. If you don't have money, you can't do shit.
Yeah.
And part of that is the truth. Like, yes, you need money or you won't have shit without money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you have to have it. They don't realize that the older you get, money becomes less valuable to you and time and freedom becomes more valuable.
Right. Have you ever seen that meme where it's like the guy getting older and how as he gets more money, he gets more old and more tired and less free time?
I have
I
not
mean, it's
seen
exactly
it.
what you're saying,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like it went through like his 20s where he had all this energy and time, but he had to
Yes.
work to get the money, and then his
Yes.
40s, 60s, and 80s.
I see all my friends I went to high school with were all graduated. It's the same reputation every Friday, Saturday night, going out
Partying.
drinking,
Yep.
going out partying. I'm at home on my laptop at 2 a.m. trying to improve my business.
Right.
How can I get better? Because by the time I'm 40, I'm going to be looking back. Everybody's going to be looking back at when we were 20, and we're going to see where we are compared to everybody
No,
else.
you're going to be the one partying because you're retired already,
Exactly.
and they're going to be working their hind end
Exactly.
off. Yeah, dude. That we got into this, me and Dylan, a few episodes back, about when I was in college. I wasn't in the party scene. I
Yep.
was at home learning how to do graphic design and teaching myself new stuff. I still do that. I mean, that's just how I am. I'm very.
I
like,
wish I had the mindset I have today just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Even just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And the last 2 years have been the biggest change in my life. I mean, I'm in the middle under contract on buying land, and we're about to build a pole barn home.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, what other 24-year-olds have what I have right now because I've worked for it,
right.
you know?
Like you
And
said,
they're still out partying and-
right now.
They
this time.
they have
Yeah.
truck payments that are $700-800. I'm about to have a mortgage that's that.
Yeah.
I mean, it don't get.
You can't get better.
I can't process that.
Literally, that is, and what you're starting in is the American dream.
You know.
The opportunity to prosper if you just put the work. Dude, that's literally what you're starting. It's really cool. We were, so me and Joe are cousins, not by blood, but we've kept up. We're pretty
Yep.
much the same person when we get into it, just different occupations. But we were sitting there in pizza talking about it and like the real estate. This kid has a great mind, a great head on his shoulder, and we think the exact same way. But it's not. We don't think in some unique, crazy way. We just read and we teach ourselves things, and that's the same way these multi-million-dollar company owners think. Andy Frisella, that's how he thinks. Mark Zuckerberg, the alien, he came from zero. Amazon came from zero. All these small businesses came from zero. Black Rifle Coffee, zero. Nine Line, zero. Like
You know what my best decision maker is? I it's not that I want to talk down on other people around me. It's just what I see, and it's the truth. And it may seem like I'm talking down, but we have to accept the truth. A lot of people I see around me are planning their beginning of their week, planning for this weekend coming up. What are we going to do this weekend? What are we going to do this weekend? So all their decisions they're making in the beginning of the week is for what they can do this weekend. Every decision I make, I'm thinking of what's going to be the outcome with this decision in 10 years.
yeah.
I'm thinking 10 years ahead.
Yeah.
If I do this right now, what is this going to be the outcome of in 10 years?
Yeah, that's like something they don't teach us in high school. You were touching on it, but finances. I didn't learn
Yep.
finances in school. It wasn't until after I got out of school, got into college, started reading not college books, started reading into what I just handed you. I gave him Rich Dad Poor Dad to read. It wasn't until then that I realized that what I do in my 20s is kind of going to dictate what I do in my 40s, my
I kinda
50s,
just
and
wanna
my,
look at you.
my 60s. Oh,
That's why I'm moving.
it's just me. But if I say I take $1 now, $100 now,
Yep.
and I put it into a mutual fund,
Yep.
let it sit, and I get 15% back when I'm freaking 40,
Yep.
that's going to be like 10 grand.
Absolutely.
And people, I mean, you're going out partying. You're, like you said, you're planning for this weekend.
Yes.
I'm not thinking about next weekend because I can't think that far.
Yes.
This weekend. And you just work through the day, you grind through the day just to get home to watch Netflix and drink all night. Hopefully you're not drinking all night. But you go home to watch Netflix and just stare at a TV, gaining nothing. Imagine if you picked up a book and read 10 pages a night, or you went on to YouTube and learned about graphic design or something you're interested in.
I get so mad at myself if I lay down in bed and I have Netflix on the TV and I'm watching an episode for a half hour. After that episode's done, I think to myself, you have got to be kidding me. I just wasted 30, like it's at 10 o'clock at night. I'm laying in bed. I'm like, I just wasted 30 minutes watching this when I could have been on my laptop or my phone doing something productive that's going to have a beautiful outcome in the morning.
Yeah, that's a good point because I do the same thing, actually. I come home and I live with my fiance, and I want to spend time with her.
Yes.
And like sometimes she's like, "You want to watch a movie?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then I think to myself, I'm like, I could be like doing work, or,
Yes.
like,
Yes. My girlfriend
But-
would be like, hey, do you want to go do this with us? And I'm like, to make you happy, yes. On the inside, I'm so pissed off. I'm not excelling in one of my trades
Don't
right
get
now.
me wrong. You feel the same way. I love spending time with her. Like, she wants to watch a movie. I'd love to watch it, but it's like in the back. It's just like,
Right.
like, and then even like when I sit down and play video games, like I know I need to decompress and just chill.
Yes.
But in the back of my head, I'm like sitting there like playing like CS:GO or Call of Duty or something. I'm like, what am I doing right now?
Right.
And I just I have to process
Now,
it, which is a good thing because
Don't take us
not
wrong. I
bad.
mean, you need some time to just cope with your mind. You need some time, but don't take advantage of that time and go too far off the course that you're on.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Stay on that same path and keep moving forward for what you really want.
Yeah, dude. Like we were talking about this before. The world is moving into a more digital age where website
You just
design.
read my mind. I just want you to know that.
Oh, really? Website design, graphic design, marketing, YouTube. I mean, YouTube's will always be huge. Instagram, like all these things that you could build an occupation around. You can literally learn it
Yes.
sitting in your underwear in your bed
Yes.
on a Saturday night, and it doesn't cost anything, zero. You can take classes through Google, and you can get financial aid through Google. I didn't know this until like a week ago. They'll pay for you to take these hundreds and hundreds of dollars of classes to learn how to market and open up your own business, to be a marketing agency, to use Facebook and Google and Instagram.
I'm today's years old knowing that.
Yeah, dude. They'll
You can get financial aid from Google.
Yeah. They'll get financial aid for you. Yeah. To do this. I took if you have a Gmail,
Yes.
you can go in and I'll have to find it and maybe I can post a link in our description, but there's Google for free. Like there's like very basic classes that you can take that'll teach you how to set up Google My Business. Like I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
like the
and
storefront.
I've spent probably, excuse me, I've spent a total of 8 hours. It doesn't sound like much, but 8 hours like on a laptop doing work is a long time to me because I'm not like an online kind of person. I'm more out in the field, hands-on, getting dirty. And I had to teach myself everything, setting up my Google page, Google My Business, and
It could be a mind twister too. Dude, some of the stuff like Google.
it took, like I would do 2 hours at a time
Yeah.
and want to keep going, but I'm like, I got to take a break because this online stuff is just too much right now.
yeah.
And really, online is like we were talking about earlier. In 10 years, it's where everything's going to be.
Yeah.
Everything.
But you know how to do it now.
Exactly.
So you know what you can do now? You can build a whole company just going around to like small businesses, mom and pop shops. And this might seem like offensive or like you're trying to be the middleman, but you can charge them $20 and say, hey, give me your info. I'm going to go make you a storefront. So you pop up on Google when someone's like looking on the map.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people might say, oh, you're the middleman. You're just trying to get money.
Right.
But like that could be a huge factor for small businesses. So when someone searches up local restaurants, it's not Chili's and Red Lobster. Now it's blah, 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 blah.
Right.
List small business. And I can go. And that 8 hours, you can go take that and make money with it. And that could be you sitting in your underwear in your bed 1 hour a night making 20 extra bucks. No, but so what we're trying to say basically is that there's this whole digital landscape. Facebook marketing, that's another huge one. You can literally go on YouTube. I think actually you can do it on Facebook, and they will literally teach you how to use their tools to market. All you have to do is go to a company and say, how much do you guys have for marketing? You have $1,000? Cool. Pay me 10% of that and I'll work with you on your marketing. Like, that's very valuable. That's no different than the people who own billboards.
It's a bigger purpose than somebody just trying to come to your small mom and pop business trying to make money off of you. The purpose is they're going to get you out there.
Right.
It's going to cost you money to make money.
Right. That's 100% true.
So sometimes
Yeah.
a lot of people, that's like another thing. A lot of people, small businesses, all the money they want to make, they want to keep, go spend it. When they want to make, go spend it. You have to invest it back into your company.
Mm-hmm.
You need to invest money into your company and grow your company. If you keep doing it one way, the same way, you make money. Oh, sweet. Now I have an extra $300 to go out this weekend and do something with it. Invest that $300 in your company to make $3,000 back out of it.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a big point that like I think that's something with our generation, like a big part of our generation, that if they do start a business and they make their first $100,000, they're like, "Oh, I'm rich. I made 6 figures." No, you didn't. Your business made 6 figures.
If you made $100,000, you're only rich for 10 months.
Right. Yeah. And then your business is going to die because you're going to spend it all. Seriously. But in reality, you made $100,000, but you actually made about $30,000.
Right.
You need to put about $70,000 back into your business, and then next year do $250,000.
I pay myself 20%. 80% goes to the business for advertising, whatever else is needed, parts, supplies. I mean,
yeah.
But 20% is not much. Honestly, it's not.
No, but that's what you have to do. You have to grind it out at the beginning, so that when you have
20% owning a business is like minimum wage, almost to me.
Yeah.
But in 10 years, I'll be able to walk away for 30 days, and my business can just run itself.
Right.
If I can walk away for 30 days, then I know I own a business and I don't own a job.
Yeah. Someone, God, it might have been Robert Kiyosaki, the author of that book.
Yeah.
He said there's a difference between being wealthy and being rich.
Yes.
Being rich is just having money. Being wealthy is how long you can survive doing nothing.
Yep.
And when you look at people like Trump or Robert Kiyosaki or Bill Gates, they're so wealthy that they can live for the rest of their life, not do a single thing and spend all, like they could just pay everything.
You really think Trump needed to be president?
No, absolutely. He lost money. He was the only president to lose money.
Yes.
While in office, while everybody else is millionaires when they come out, when they're only supposed to be making $200,000.
Right.
It's like Nancy Pelosi with her backdoor stocks. Oh, you want to hear something else you'll find interesting? You probably didn't hear this.
Send it.
There's a guy on TikTok who tracks. So basically, all the Congress, they're all in stock trading, and they have to release it within 45 days. They have to
release the what?
Who they put stocks in, how much money they you basically see everything. All their stock.
Are you talking
trading.
about Pelosi?
Yes.
I think I know where you're going with this, but go ahead.
I think it was 70% of Congress had stocks in Pfizer.
Okay.
Why would they have stocks in Pfizer during the pandemic? Oh, Pelosi, she's worth.
That's not the only one then, because I didn't know about that.
Oh no, but they're in everywhere. You'll see this guy on TikTok will track it, and he'll put like watch how the laws are going to change in about 6 months on this because they're investing in it. He can track it.
I could be wrong, but you can research it. Don't take me as this is real because I'm not 100% sure yet. Biden signed an executive order to make all federal-owned vehicles electric. And the prior day, I believe it was Pelosi that invested $1 million into Tesla. The prior day.
That doesn't sound very far off. Biden signs order aiming for half of the new vehicles. Hold on. While I'm looking at this, Pelosi's worth $120 million. Why is she worth $120 million when she's in Congress working? I think it's like $170,000 a year. How is she worth $120 million? Biden's push for half of all new vehicles to be electric. It was for all vehicles.
All vehicles.
Yeah, but still.
All government-owned vehicles or all vehicles in general? Because I did see a thing about Ford a while ago, completely going away with like
half of all new vehicles sold in 2030 zero emissions vehicles.
Yes,
so that's everybody.
I read an article about that with Ford.
Yeah, I think California also did something like that.
So did it say anything about Pelosi investing into Tesla prior to that by him?
I don't think so. You're not going to see that on here.
Yeah,
but no, she probably
I'm sure it
did, and probably along with a lot of other people in Congress. Why she's worth $120 million? You know, they had someone on. His name was Billy. He's running for a seat in New Jersey, Senate seat. He made a good point, and he was like, they should make the median income of their district. So if you come from a poor area and the median income is $40,000, that's what you're making. If you come from a really rich area, Montgomery County, Maryland, median income is $200,000, you're making $200,000.
And if you come from $40,000 as your medium income, and you're able to help that community bring it to 60, then you get a $20,000 pay raise.
And you get voted back in because they like you.
Congratulations, you did your job.
Yep.
You did your job.
So
working for us.
You would be working for the people, not lobbying and making money in the back.
Now they're making more money and we're making less. Every year they go up, we go down.
Yep. And it's stuff like this that I don't
and
understand.
everybody thinks, oh, I get a pay raise. No, you don't. You get a pay raise? Sure. Your expenses, they go up.
And your taxes go up.
Exactly.
To cover that.
Expenses, taxes, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the exact reason we're coming full circle here. But this is the exact reason why I question people who don't question narratives. Like all of this stuff going on, just as a whole, Congress, let's say Pelosi in general, being worth 120 million. She's been a lifelong politician. She shouldn't be worth 120 million, even if she invested everything. If she wasn't backdoor investing, she says her husband's the one that does it. Okay, that's just so it won't be under your name. Everything with the vaccine, all the propaganda, all of the free vaccines, the mandates that are now being seen as unconstitutional by federal courts, which is huge. And I question that if places like Delaware and Maryland mandates will then be seen as unconstitutional as well if his is ruled unconstitutional
right
on the federal level. That's going to be very interesting to see. Everything about Trump not being true, but all these people's egos are so blown up that they can't get away from it. Like, seriously. Now we live in a very Republican area, I'd say. We have mixtures of things.
It's a blue state, but our county it doesn't get redder than red.
We're maroon. We're maroon.
We're darker than red.
Yeah, we're pretty red. So I haven't really had many issues being out and about.
No.
Everyone's kind of on the same page.
So I was I came in contact with somebody that didn't have COVID or nothing. I was just in the area of them, and they said, have you been vaccinated? I said no. And they said, well, you need to have a mask on. I said, have you been vaccinated? She said, yeah. And I'm like, so why are you worried about me not being vaccinated or not wearing a mask if you're protected?
Exactly.
Well, just in case what? Why'd you get the vaccine then? If you're scared about being around other people that haven't had it, you're protected.
And if you're that scared, stay home.
Exactly.
Like,
so why get the vaccine?
Yeah. Yeah, that they're saying it's safe and effective. It's okay. You can't even call it a vaccine first because it doesn't even prevent anything. You can still give it. You can still have it. The numbers are being covered up for one. They don't.
100%.
They don't. If you have an adverse effect within 2 weeks, they count you as unvaccinated. If you've been vaccinated.
Really?
So how much is that padding the numbers?
The numbers have been hidden since it all started with the hospitals coding everything as COVID. That's more funding that they can get.
Exactly.
For COVID, and people are dying of heart attacks are being coded as COVID related.
People are dying from vehicle accidents, and they're naming it COVID.
COVID related.
Yeah, no, it's not COVID. I'm trying to find a TikTok, and people are, it's a TikTok, but I'm trying to find it because it was a senator who had numbers, the numbers of COVID adverse effects and or adverse reactions and the deaths. And of course, I can't find it anywhere. So basically, it was about 900,000 adverse reactions.
Really?
Yeah. And the deaths were way up there. Now, compared to like other vaccines, they would have pulled it off the shelf by now. Completely. They said they would have been like, nope. Mm-mm. So why all of a sudden is...
What is it? Population control?
No, because I've thought about this. I've talked to my parents about this.
Why?
They wouldn't
What is
kill.
this?
They wouldn't kill off their voter base. That sounds really morbid, but they wouldn't. You know what I mean?
No, I understand that.
Like if they're the ones pushing that, why would you kill your voter base?
So what are they trying to do?
I think it's a money scheme for Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J.
So a colleague of mine is employed by Johnson & Johnson as a social media marketer.
Oh, nice.
The pay grade for that position is over 6 figures.
What? Man, where am I going wrong in life?
For social media marketing.
Well, that tells you how much they're doing.
Yes. If you're getting paid over 6 figures, Come on.
Oh yeah.
Come on, for that job sitting at a computer.
Yep.
I mean, you're not even trading stocks or something.
Do you watch Project Veritas at all?
I don't.
You-
I had to be honest. I don't watch much TV.
It's probably better.
I'm not
It's-
online a lot.
Yeah.
It's very minimal that I'm on my phone, and when I am on my phone, it's 99% related business.
Yeah. It's probably better that way.
And
honestly.
I honestly wish I could completely get rid of my phone, because having my phone, it fucks with your mind.
Yeah,
you have
really,
access
yeah.
to social media. You have access
you
to
have access
whatever
to
you
too
want.
much.
Too much.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't like it. I hate it. And I wish I could throw my phone away last night,
Yeah.
but I just can't, because I have to run a business.
It's probably better that way, honestly.
Yes.
That sometimes being too busy is better for you. Basically, Project Veritas had some undercover interviews of scientists, workers from the FDA, Johnson & Johnson. The scientists themselves are from Johnson & Johnson and I think Pfizer. They literally said, you don't need the vaccine. The scientists. They had one girl come out that worked for Pfizer, I believe it was, that produced an email that said they use fetal cells in producing the vaccine, which would basically make religious exemptions good across the board.
I'm speechless.
Because if you have basically any religion that doesn't believe in killing in babies, which is basically all of them, that would give you an exemption. But they literally said in the email that they're trying to keep that out and keep it out of the public.
So they don't have to accept medical exemptions.
Yeah, pretty much. They didn't say that word for word, but they said they're trying to keep it out of the public. And you can only think of one reason why.
If they are so pro abortion, it's a woman's body, let her have her rights, do what she wants. It's my body also. Why
Right.
can I have the option? Why can't I have the option to decline the vaccination?
Yeah.
I mean, they have made it so plain obvious that it's just not for the people.
But it's the egos. There's so many people that have gone along with this that at this point they're doubling down on everything, and they're not willing to give up. Like they're saying, trust the science. If the science is there, it's there, and if you trust the science, it's fact. You can't argue with me when I'm giving you CDC numbers that you then give back to me. Like,
Yes.
There's no way around it. And all this stuff has been conveniently covered up across the board. The numbers are being padded. Why, if this is such a great vaccine, you would think we should be doing more testing on it. We would be a lot more interested in the adverse effect or reactions and the deaths from the vaccine. Because if it was so great,
Why aren't they charging $200 for it if it's so great?
yeah, exactly.
Why is it free?
Why are they pushing it so hard? Again, I swear that it is a money scheme for Pfizer and J&J and Moderna. Why? This is my biggest question, and this is not talked about a lot. Why are the early treatments for COVID that have been proven successful not getting more attention instead of the vaccine? If the vaccine doesn't really work, but you can say, hey, if you get COVID, you can do this, this, and this, and you're pretty much good.
I mean, it's just plain and clear that it's a money scheme. I mean, look at everybody that's invested and
Yeah.
all the agencies providing it. You know, if they can invest a bunch of money into it and get a fast return for pushing it so fast and so hard, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, and then in turn, you can also get governmental control over more people. It's a win-win for both sides if you can get it to work. So why not? And then, I mean, there's everything else with, I don't even think Biden's even running the country, but I mean, the man crapped his pants on the way to go to see the Pope, but
They're
no one's talk about that.
Biden's not the only one in the basement.
No, I think Obama's down there with him.
Obama's
Maybe.
in the basement while Biden's not.
Maybe Michael too.
And it's like, what do you call those things that you can control? Not like a ventriloquist, but like a
the dummy, yeah,
Whatever they are.
it's
I
a
don't know what they're called.
ventriloquist. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Obama. Like Biden has like an earpiece in his ear, and Obama's in the basement. Like, Joe, say this. Joe, say that.
Obama's Jeff Dunham.
Yes. And literally, Walt. I mean, he looks just like Walt almost, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah.
It's exactly what's happening.
No, but like if you watch, like I swear, I source TikTok so much, but that's literally like freedom of speech is where the real news comes from. And people are putting up like TikToks of him. Like, did you see the one where he was on the show on CNN and he was like gripping his fists like this?
Yes.
And people are like, that's literally a sign of dementia when they grip their fists like this.
Yes.
He's a president of the United
Yes.
States and he's showing signs of dementia. I mean, not his stutter. Him gripping his fist like that. The way he walks, he has that little dementia shuffle that he does. Like he drags his feet.
Yes. Well, he tripped walking up Air Force One.
Oh, God. Yeah. Like, why? If that was Trump, they'd be eating that up.
So I saw a video the other day. It was the assistant press secretary, I think, to Jen
Psaki.
Psaki.
Yeah.
One of the reporters was asking, how much money do we give legal immigrants for coming into the country legally?
Yeah.
And why would we give them any money? Well, why are you offering $450,000 to illegals entering the country? Oh, we have to ask the Department of Justice that. That's the Department of Justice thing. You have to ask them.
You're speaking for the president. You should be able to answer that.
Well, obviously would not have an answer for that.
No, because that sounds stupid when it comes out of her voice or it comes out of her mouth. And I think she realized it when she said it. But yeah, we didn't even touch on that. The 250,000 or 450.
It was 450.
Yeah.
And then, so if a vet, not an active soldier, dies on the job, overseas, wherever, on the job, their family only gets 200,000.
Yeah.
Their family can get up to 400,000, but that employee has to pay into that every month.
So how about we take all that 450,000 for each person, that big, probably billions of dollars, we divide that up for all the small businesses that got hurt throughout the pandemic. I'd be for that.
It would
use
make
my tax money.
It'd make too much sense and it would help us. So they wouldn't do that.
Yeah. You know who's given more money to the small businesses than the government? Dave Portnoy. Did you hear what he did over the course of the pandemic? He's El Presidente from Barstool.
Yes.
He raised $40 million
Yes.
and then gave it to businesses.
Same thing with Jimmy's Grill in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Did that also.
Yeah. Like, again, this type of stuff is why I question not the vaccine itself. I would hope the vaccine is good. I've personally heard of a ton of adverse reactions, which I can tell you after this. I can't talk about them on here. That alone would make me be like, no, nope. I will take I've already had COVID. I have natural immunity. If, they haven't done really any studies on it, which I don't need studies for that. I have natural immunity. I've already had it. I beat it. It was a sniffle for about 3 days. I was really weak for about a month. I'll take that over possible myocarditis or inflation in the heart or a heart attack.
So
I'll take that in a heartbeat.
back to when I was saying my girlfriend's mom had it.
Wouldn't take that in a heartbeat.
As you know, my girlfriend is an EMT. Literally, you can't get closer than that. Being in the back of an ambulance with a COVID positive patient.
Probably vaccinated.
She comes home day after work, and for the last year, it's been going on. And here I am. She's never had it. I've never had it. And she's literally face to face touching the people.
But if it's so deadly, she should be dead.
Absolutely. And now,
Yeah.
She should lose her job because she hasn't been vaccinated.
Yeah. And there's actually a lot of people in that field that are supporting that are saying you don't trust the science, and that if you're a frontline health worker, if you don't get the vaccine, you're just hurting your patients, which is not true, because if you're a frontline healthcare worker, you are masked up with actual masks that work, the N95s with the filters and gloves. You're good. And more than likely, you've already had COVID and you didn't even realize it.
Right.
Like, it blows my mind. Even if you're vaccinated, you're still wearing a mask and you're still wearing gloves.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Yep.
It's crazy. And this is not the time to be firing nurses either. If this was such a bad pandemic and it was so deadly, let's fire all the nurses. That'll fix it. That doesn't make any sense.
Or all the firefighters.
Or the firefighters. Yeah.
Police officers.
Did you see the meme? I think did you share it? The
I'm
one
not
where
sure.
it, like the firefighter's getting the lady out of the window. She's like, "Are you vaccinated?" And there's like
Yes.
fire blowing up behind her. Yeah, that's gonna happen.
And it's sad, but that's the truth.
Yeah, I think 26 houses in FDNY have closed down now.
I saw that. Yep.
Yep, that blood's on their hands. Not the firefighters, the government.
The governor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
New York City.
dude, it's all backwards. It is literally backwards. And again, I'm going to say it for the 16th time this episode. This is why I question stuff. And this is why that dude on Twitter was so wrong when he said, "Why should I be questioning anything?"
Why?
Yeah, well, he said, "What should I be questioning?" Like in quotation.
Why is he even asking that?
Because they're so blind and their ego's this big, they can't make it through a doorway without slapping their head
They're
on the side.
brainwashed.
Dude, literally, I can't think about it without my head hurting. Like, and the problem is that, like, this stuff, like, people like Biden and Congress and our parents and our grandparents, they're going to be gone while we're still dealing with this, the effects of this. And the fact that all these young people, and I think it's the majority of people are now waking up to it and being like, all right, especially the people with kids, our kids are going to be the ones that are going to feel the final effects of this.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, which is another big reason everybody should be questioning it and fighting it. Because I don't want my kid to have to choose between a vaccine or a job. Because as much as you want to fight it and say that's a choice, that's not a choice. That's coercion by the worst case scenario. Because
100%.
what does life revolve around? And what does real world life revolve around? Money. If you don't got money, you ain't living. You know?
Yes.
You're always taught money doesn't buy happiness. Sure, it doesn't, but
bullshit.
it buys you a warm house and some food. And if you don't got that, then you're screwed.
if you don't have money, you can't do shit. You
No.
can't help people, other people. You can't help yourself. You can't buy anything.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing without it.
Ain't paying your taxes if I don't have no money. If I'm not making nothing. Yeah, you know what? I think with that, any closing thoughts?
Open your eyes. Seriously.
Yeah.
People need to. They
Yeah.
need to see past. They need to read in between the lines and just see past everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, we were like all over the place with that episode, but it's fine.
it was.
Yeah, it's okay.
But we touched a lot.
We did all the way from. I don't think we didn't really get into real estate, but everything from
Next podcast, we'll have to.
Yeah.
We'll get deep in. We'll stay on small businesses and
small business and real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. We do some of that. Like we did 2 episodes. If you guys listen to them, kind of like a self-help episode. Not really self-help, more like business and like
Like
just,
a motivational.
We talked about hunting a little bit.
Yeah.
So this is just gonna be another one of those episodes, like kind of
Yeah.
all over the place. Kind of, let's go, Brandon. You know, FJB.
I only support LGBFJB.
Oh my god.
No, but seriously, everybody just, stay positive. Think 10 years ahead. It seems like 10 years is so far ahead, but we were just 16 in high school. And now, how old are you, Christian?
24 on Thursday.
I'm 24 in October. 10 years is going to be tomorrow.
You always forget you got me by a month.
So,
Dude, how we just talked about closing thoughts, but I just saw this. It felt like yesterday I was watching Vines
right.
on the Vine app, not YouTube.
Right. I remember watching Officer Daniels on Vine.
Oh my god, I forgot he started there.
Yes.
Dude,
Yes. You see all the great stuff he's doing for Down syndrome?
Yeah, 21 pineapples.
21 pineapples. It's
yeah,
amazing.
I need to buy one of that.
I'm-
That button down.
I'm buying
Fire.
a button down like tomorrow.
That thing's fire, dude.
I'm definitely getting a pull it.
All right, I gotta give him the hookup. Officer Daniels on Facebook. I'll send him a snippet of this. But
he has so much hate. It's unreal.
I know for helping down, dude.
it's
That tells you where
unreal.
we're at in society. This man used to be a cop. He got out. Got like Vine famous. Ended up getting like social media famous. Got out of law enforcement and got into real estate, which I think freed him up to do what he's doing now. He now works with. Is he related to him, or he's just like friends with him?
His sister, I know, has Down syndrome.
Right.
And I don't know if he's related to, I think the kid's name is Nathan.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
I don't know if they're related or not.
I don't think they are. Oh, this button down's fire.
I know.
He has two, dude. He has a pink one and he has a blue one
blue
now
one,
with the white. But I
Yes.
think he has the yellow one. I might have to buy one right after this. Anyway, check this kid out. Yeah, this yellow one. I got it. The yellow one's fire.
And the proceeds, where are the proceeds going? They're not going to Officer Daniels. They're going towards.
I think they're going to either him or they're doing some kind of foundation.
I'm pretty sure it's a foundation.
Yeah. But
Almost positive.
yeah, but he's supporting this this kid with Down
The
syndrome.
Down syndrome community, the whole community of it.
Yeah, like and he's getting so much hate for it, and this is literally awesome. Like I'd go to say this might be the richest person with Down syndrome. This kid, like that's I don't feel horrible for saying that. It kind of sounds weird, but seriously,
Good for him.
And it's all because of him and Officer Daniels
Yep.
and Officer Daniels using his clout on Facebook and
For
social
him.
media for him. It's awesome,
Yep.
and he's getting a lot of hate for it. Like
He
I can't.
pushes them more than he does for himself.
Now all he pushes is this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's basically like the number one. He's the social media for yeah, I mean, if you guys want to check it out, it's called 21 Pineapples Shirt Co. I haven't got too deep into it. There's a reason for the name. I think he posted on his Facebook,
I think 21 is something to do with the chromosomes in the body.
yes, because he has extra chromosome.
Yes.
Homie with the extra chromie.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know where the pineapples came
Homie
from,
with the
though.
extra chromie. I love it. Yeah, that's right.
If you guys want to check it out, it's 21pineapples.com. I know they had some issues with PayPal and stuff getting started, and he was going into depth about it on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got it all sorted out. So if you guys want to check him out, at least go look at the website, give the website some traction. And if you want to buy a shirt, let me see what the shirt prices are. I mean, it's a good cause either way, so it really shouldn't matter. Dude, he has so many button downs. So it's $65 for a button down, but I mean, I've read they're very good quality, and everyone loves them. And that's the button down, so that's probably on the pricier side.
It's not even about
apparel.
how
It's not.
how
It's
much
not.
the shirt is.
But that's
or
what they're getting
anything,
slammed
but
for.
it
Part
is.
of what they're getting slammed for.
It's too expensive.
It's
like if
screw them people.
how can you put a price on helping a Down syndrome foundation?
Yeah, no,
You know what I mean?
It's a
Like-
good kid and it's a good cause. And I think they said they made so much money at start that PayPal like flagged their account and like shut it down because they made too much money too quickly. So they're doing great. It came kind of out of left field. So check them out, 21pineapples.com. But again, we're kind of all over the place. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you again for coming through. Have some
Thank
good discussion.
you so much for having me, man.
You
It's
need to
been
come back.
awesome.
I literally texted him yesterday and was like, I need a guest. Like, you want to come on?
So
Yeah,
I
tell
was-
your story. Tell your story.
I was thinking about that on my way here. So I'll tell the original, the first part.
Yeah.
So it was last week. I'm driving down the road and I'm just thinking how badass it would be to be on American Sons podcast. Like, it'd be the coolest thing in the world. And never said nothing to Christian about it or anything. He literally sends me a text last night. He's like, "Hey, I have an opening on my podcast. Do you want to come?" And I'm like, "Are you shitting me?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" Like, are you kidding me right now? And so I'm thinking, like, look how God works. Like, obviously, that's
That came out of nowhere.
I don't know how that even happened. So I'm also
Yeah.
thinking, like, on my way here, I'm like, I am so fucking busy. Like, what are the odds that you asked me for tonight and I'm free tonight?
Yeah. I was actually
and
planning.
then-
I was planning on you saying no. They were going to be busy. So yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm so busy all the time, but I choose to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, when I have free time, the walls start talking to me. Like, I'm like, I need to fill this gap with free time.
Yeah.
So I continuously make myself busy so I can progress and advance in life. So by the time I'm 40, I'm watching everybody else now working their asses off while I'm chilling on the beach in the Bahamas.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, like, I'm so busy, but I was able to be available for this. And it's just awesome.
Yeah, dude. Well, I appreciate
So
you coming
happy to be
on.
here.
It was even before this, we were having some good convo.
Yeah.
Some good stuff. I'm really excited what's to come.
Yeah. I would
with
love to
you.
meet Hunter and Dylan.
Yeah,
Correct.
you're going to have to
Yep.
meet them. You're going to have to come back on with them.
Absolutely.
They'd be really excited to sit down with you and talk about small business and just everything
Yeah.
going on because you have the same head on your shoulders as we do. And it's this kind of conversation that's going to take to really make a difference. Kids to come, generations to come.
Life's not what it was 20 years ago.
No.
I mean, it has.
People don't talk. People don't get into deep conversation anymore.
No.
It's all about social media and what looks the best for you on social media. The perfect life on social media. That's just how it is now. So it's refreshing. I'll say that. The talking to you, it felt the exact same way sitting down with Dylan and Hunter for the first time and talking. So it's good to hear and good to see. But with that, got any closing thoughts?
You have to work for what you want, man. You know what I mean? Nothing's going to be handed to you. If you want something, get your ass up in the morning and go work for it.
You hear that?
That's all there is to it.
You heard it here first. All right, guys. Thank you so much. This is episode 9, I think. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye.
I am the American son, never backing down, ain't never gonna run. I am the American son, never backing down, ain't never gonna run. I am the American son, never backing down, ain't never gonna run. I am the American son, gonna take it to my grave.